Hails everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of Radionomicon. 7 deadly sins, 7 ways to win, 7 holy paths to hell. Your trip begins. Alright, that was the band Kitasuka with their track Still from their self-titled EP. Okay guys, how have you been doing after phase 2? Guess everyone has started catching up with old buddies, and some bands have already started rehearsing as well. Well, let's hope we are gonna have gigs coming soon. Now let's see what's up in the Rudra camp in our segment of Necro Views. Hey Kathir bro, how have you been doing? Thanks so much for appearing on the show. Now tell us, how's it going for Rudra? And also about your side band, The Wandering Ascetic.
So currently at the Rudra camp, we are taking a short break due to the COVID-19 situation. So right after completing the recent Invoking the Gods cover album, we decided to write the new album, and then the COVID-19 situation got worse in Singapore, so we decided to take a short break from songwriting. So basically we had written almost half the album, and we were about to lay down the drum tracks as well for these songs, but unfortunately we could not do it. We had to cancel the practice sessions as well as the recording sessions. So right now we are waiting for the situation to get slightly better so that we can get back into the studio and start resuming the recording and as well as the songwriting process. The new album is, I believe, would probably see the light in early next year, given the situation that we are in, and possibly we can also start resuming our shows as well, and you could possibly see us on stage. And I think some of you may have already be familiar with the content of or theme of the next album, which is going to be an interesting one. It is going to be about very ancient as well as very revolutionary female characters in Sanskrit epics. So we are going to write songs around very perhaps unknown and underrated characters in Sanskrit epics who have really changed the way that people look at reality. And we are still sticking to our usual focal areas, which is philosophy from the Vedic tradition. Right, so talking about the Wandering Ascetic, some of you may know that I am also involved in a side project in Wandering Ascetic. So Wandering Ascetic is a band that I co-founded with a couple of friends, and this was primarily for the reason of finding another outlet for me to write about topics and ideas that are not Vedic. So I think you all know that, many of you may know that in Rudra, he has a very focal theme, and it primarily revolves around the Vedic tradition, the Sanskrit traditions of ancient India. So with the Wandering Ascetic, it was a departure from that, so that I can write about contemporary issues, things that I experience, and things that I've been ruminating about, and so anything under the sun. So as you would see that I do not write all the lyrics for the Wandering Ascetic. I share that duties with Kannan, the drummer of Wandering Ascetic as well. So that's one of the reasons why I'm part of the Wandering Ascetic, and I also co-founded it, so that it can become an outlet for me to express ideas that are perhaps that would not fit into the theme that and the genre that Rudra who has probably created. So that also leads you to the question as to what Vedic metal is. So Vedic metal is a term that we invented for the genre of music that Rudra plays, which is basically a combination of extreme metal and Vedic philosophy. Some of you may already know what Vedic philosophy is. You can possibly even do a search on the internet to find out more. But for us, Vedic philosophy is primarily the philosophical foundations or the philosophical traditions that the ancient Sanskrit texts called the Vedas actually inspired. So we in Rudra, that's all we write about. We don't write about anything else. Everything that we write is around or inspired by these Vedic philosophies, in particularly a particular philosophy called Advaita Vedanta, which is something that we very much write mostly in most Rudra albums.
Okay, man, thanks once again. Now let's check out this track from the Wandering Ascetic entitled Assassins, taken from the album Crimson.
Choose your lies for sale. Furious wrath set the world ablaze. Promises are made for gods to break them. The walls they have been breached. The dreams they have been crushed. All this will not go away forever. All we hold on to, we will lose. Impending doom in a state of sleep, conveniently known. Kill my own, we watch the kings fall. All wretched times, slaves we are. The walls they have been breached. The dreams they have been crushed. All this will not go away forever. All we hold on to, we will lose.
Hi, this is Kadir from Rudra. You are listening to Radionomicon.
Radionomicon, heavy music to raise the dead.
Now let's start spinning the book of the dead, and we shall see who is Sama. Oh yeah, here's Abysmal Vortex with the track entitled Ravenous Sepulchres, taken from the album Derelicts of Perdition. Take it away! Okay, now let us spin again and see if we summon any unholy bands from beyond Singer Hell, perhaps from our neighboring country. Oh yeah, on point. Right now, let's bang our heads to the vicious Dying Fates from Malaysia with their track Suffocated. Okay guys, let's now travel far and wide through the jungles of Peru, where we invoke death with Morbid Devastator of the band Death Invoker. Welcome to the show, brother. Tell us all about Death Invoker and your upcoming plans.
Morbid hails and thanks for this bestial interrogatory. Death Invoker started back in 2005. The first lineup was Beast of Holocaust on drums, Unholy Perverser on guitar, and Morbid Devastator in bass and vocals. A few weeks later, Abyss joined in the other guitar. We got the first apparition on the Necromantic stage on 2006, and then we were summoned for the recording of a split among other Peruvian bands. After this, Abyss left the band. For 2007, Beast of Holocaust left the band too, and we summoned another beast on his replacement, who was Bestial Last. Since 2007, the lineup was Bestial Last on drums, Unholy Perverser on guitar, and Morbid Devastator on bass and vocals. It was until 2019, the past year, in which Unholy Perverser officially left the band. Currently, Death Invoker continues as a duo, and I took the guitar duties too, beside bass and vocals. We already recorded to some productions, some splits with this duo lineup. Currently on 2020, because of the fucking virus situation, it was so hard to rehearse or something, but there are already composed songs and some releases planned in South America and Europe as well. Speaking about the lyrics and the music, Death Invoker plays a bestial mixture between raw death metal, aggressive speed thrash metal, always in the most obscure and necromantic form. Elder and classic bands as Sepulchres, Massacre, Running Wild, Creator, Possessed, Sarcophago, and Sodom, just to mention some of the classics, were the main inspiration. Of course, always trying to add own elements, trying to avoid fucking cloning. Speaking about lyrics, the topics we cover are related to ancient death rituals, hidden mysteries, obscure terror, the occult side, total darkness, visions of destruction, apocalyptic onslaught, morbid misanthropy, and traditional metal cult. We have some releases, for example, Red Desecration's promo tape from 2007, Sepulchral Noise 4-way split released on 2009, Demo 2010 from the same year, which has 3 versions, Independent Peruvian one, Polish version by Time Before Time, and Malaysian version by Old Gold Corps in cooperation with Nusantarium from Malaysia too. Necromantic Desecration Live CD from 2016, released in Brazil by Sociedade dos Mortos, Pictures from Hell Distro, and Defamatory Sign. Also, Necromancy Damnation Revenge 7 inches from 2018, released in Brazil by Sociedade dos Mortos and Pictures from Hell again. Also, Impure Spirits of Destruction split with Amphoris, a Polish band. It was released in 2019 by Old Temple from Poland on CD and Soul River tapes from Chile in cassette version. On the same year, Packed with the Forbidden, split with Thronium from Poland too. It was released by the Polish Impure Records on tape, on limited copies, as an advance to the 7 inches that is coming very soon on the following weeks. In addition, we have recorded for other splits releases that are going to be vomited on Sweden and Brazil. The Swedish one is a 5-way split with bands from Asia, Europe, and South America. The Brazilian split is a 4-way including bands from Latin America, South America, and Asia. Both are going to be released in CD format. Both are supposed to be released on 2020, so we must wait. Speaking about Peruvian scene, I can say that Peru has growth in the underworld metal in the last decades, and there are some bands that some people abroad should already know. Currently, in my morbid opinion, I would mention Morbo Satan, Tunjum, Dishumanized from Tacna, Sexorcist as some of the best extreme metal acts. I am not speaking only about sounds, but also in obscure and underground attitude, because these bands are so far from the lights, acting like rock stars or other bullshit. I believe they are focused only on what they do and fuck the rest. Regarding Legion of Torture sign, my own sign, I started this on 2009 and released 4 issues until now. The last one was from 2019, and currently I'm preparing issue 5, which I already have on something like 66.6% approximately, and perhaps it's possible to be released this year. I'm just waiting a couple of answers of some bands. Since the beginning, the goal of the sign was to still support tradition in metal, giving some extra source of underground promotion and having extra stuff to make some trades abroad for my personal collection mainly. I like to focus on long interviews and deep questions, trying to ask about some personal theories that I have for metal and contrasting this with the ideas and words of other bands and people, then perhaps I can find some kind of occult truth. It is raw and simple made. No fucking colors, no fucking arts, no fucking space wasted. It is fully Xeroxed, written in English, A4 size, and of course is totally focused in traditional metal, being death metal, thrash metal, speed metal, heavy metal, etc. I also have a do-it-yourself distro, nothing related to business but more like an underground hobby. It is called Evil Spirit Distro, and I already have plenty of tapes on sale or for trade. In addition, I started a Metal Maleficarum blog, which is something like a complement to Legion of Torture sign, always with the entire idea of sick torture, where I put some extra stuff that was not possible to be put on the paper sign. Things like reviews, brief interviews in some specific topics, and that kind of stuff.
Okay guys, the end is near and it's time to bid farewell. Till we meet again, believe in yourself and achieve what you will. From the words of Anton LaVey, blessed are they who believe what is best for them, for never shall their minds be terrorized. This is Death Invoker with the track Divination through Death Spirits.
I am Morbid Devastator and you are listening Radionomicon Radio.